Okay, online there is no recording of replacing a alternator on a 2000 3.5 liter Intrigue. So we're going to go through the process of changing the alternator on a 2000 Intrigue. First, we have the radiator housing for this thermostat that's hooked onto the upper portion of the cam. And so we're going to have to take all of that off, the hoses, in order to get to the bolts for the alternator. There should be 2 bolts on it. As we proceed further, we'll find out. Alright, first we're going to take off this cross member frame bar and take out the battery to get it out the way. So we're going to stand by until we disassemble that and get the battery out. The battery has 2 terminals, of course, positive and negative. The side post. As you can see down at the bottom, there's a battery holding mounting bracket that takes a 1/2-inch socket. As you can see, we've taken the hoses off of the radiator thermostat housing, and there's 2 bolts on that. That requires a 10mm socket. So we can get a little closer. There's the 1 bolt on the lower right side, and the other bolt is underneath the left side. These are the 2 holes where the radiator thermostat housing mount is taken from. As you can see the alternator clearly now. So we'll locate the bolts for the alternator. Okay, now we're going to have to take off the radiator reserve overflow container to get to the tension pulley for the belt, so that we can have some slack on the alternator to get it out. Actually, there's only 1 bolt on the alternator. Now we're going to take off the puller alternator bolt with the pulley assembled attached to it. You're going to need a 5/16 socket drive for this one. I'm sorry, correction, that's a 15mm socket drive for this bolt. Once you have taken the radiator assembly off and the housing for the airflow system, now as the sun is so bright we can't really see it. There we go. This is the other bolt, the second bolt that you have to take the radiator fan housing assembly off. Consists of 2 bolts on each end and all the different connections. However, it's a little task, but can be done with a little bit of effort. So now we'll go to take this second bolt loose and drop the alternator. The second alternator bolt is a 15mm socket and a 1/2-inch drive. Before taking off the alternator completely, the second bolt, you want to take loose the alternator clamp for the wiring to the alternator. You have to disconnect that harness with the clip on the side. As you can see, the alternator harness wiring clamp is disconnected. There's a small clip that you can see right there on the back side that pulls out. This is a small clip bolting system for the fan housing assembly for the radiator. Then you have this harness assembly that attaches to the framing of the car. You also have to take off the motor mount assembly on the top frame that consists of a bolt here and 2 bolts here down in the frame welding. They're all 1/2-inch bolts, and this is the other clip for the fan housing on the other side for the radiator. After further assessing this situation, there is actually a 3rd bolt right here, which is the same drive, a 15mm, that we're going to have to take a loose. As you can see, the alternator is down. There's one more lead, the ground lead, which is a 10mm, and that will complete the disassembling of the alternator for Osmobile Intrigue 2000 3.5 liter. As you can see, we're going to have a little bit of difficulties getting the alternator out now, being that we've got it disassembled. So we're probably going to have to take off this battery holding tray that consists of the 3 bolts here. Look like they're 10mm bolts as well. This is success. This is the alternator. This is the first pulley mount bolt that we took off for the alternator. This is the 2nd one and the 3rd one on the top side. You can actually loosen them up and slip them off to the side. Sometimes you have to take them all the way completely off because it's a little stuck.